Good afternoon, Gossip Talk Show's family. It's Nomsa here at Gossip Talk Show's Find Your Own Voice Lead from Within. So, with me today, I'm with Amanda. How are you, Amanda?
I'm good. I'm ready for this. I'm sort of ready for this topic. Just before the show, we were talking about how I'm like, I don't know that I'm the best person for this topic, but I'm sure it'll be great.
So, the topic today is Date with Vision. Love begins where self beliefs start. Love doesn't begin the moment two people meet, it begins long before that. In the quiet place within you, where belief is formed, identity is anchored places within you, where beliefs may where belief is formed, identity is anchored, and purpose is awakened. Too many people search for love while doubting their own worth. They pour from an empty well, chase partners who reflect their insecurities, and walk into relationship with fear that they are not enough. Which is that's why we were talking about it, Amanda, just before we come on. So what do you think? Hello, Amanda, can you hear me?
Yeah, I was just on mute. Sorry. I think
Oh,
so much.
Amanda, she's chatting away and she's muted. I kept doing that yesterday.
Well, my daughter's alarm was going off, so I had to turn the volume off here. Um, I think so much of our it comes from ourselves, right? And our belief about ourselves and our belief if we approach dating from a sense of lack, then we're going to feel more lack in our life. But if we approach it from a place of abundance, then we're going to feel more abundance and that we will thrive through it. And so when we look at it, it's really about like where your self-beliefs start and how you really show up for yourself. And I think sometimes too, when you really are like selfful, that's when the person will just show up, right? And it could be that you like go in and you approach it from a dating perspective, or it just could be that you really are selfful and you are doing all your things and your person shows up while you're doing all your things because your life is already so full and so abundant that you're attracting that type of energy into your life. And so what you attract at different times in your life will be just who you are and who you're showing up as. And so if you're showing up as somebody who's really anxious about relationships and feel like you're never going to meet the right person, then that's what's going to keep showing up for you. But if you feel like that your person's out there and that they'll show up at the right time and you have nothing to worry about, then that's what will happen, is what I believe anyway. What do you think, Nomsa?
You are actually right, Amanda, because you have to have what you're saying is you have to have clarity and honor your calling as well when you actually making that decision that you want to go on date and attract what what you're looking for, attract what you are within yourself, and knowing that you get there and find Mr. Right exist. And yeah, you are right, because dating with a vision is like designing your own blueprint and believing that that is going to happen. And because our inner world that shapes our outer world, and that becomes our love story when we believe who we are becoming and we stop settling for connection that dim our lights. We rise up as leaders in our heart as well. Whatever is in your heart, you rise up and get what you attract. Like you said, Amanda, you just have to believe what you want, what you desire, and believe that is going to come to pass. Um, Over to you, Grant.
Oh,
Where's Grant?
he just went to grab something, I think. I think that you're right that it's really about how you're showing up. And so one thing that like I approach for myself is like, if I want to attract somebody that is really active and that has like a routine and that like makes commitments to like their health and wellness, then like I need to show up as that too. Otherwise, I'm not going to attract that into my life. Right. And so when you are showing up as the best version of yourself, then that's when you're going to attract more people who highlight and bring out more of that light within yourself. And so whatever it is, what's holding you back? What's holding you back from doing the things that you wish that you were doing? And I think that when we start to do those things, that's when those people will show up in our life. Is really, it's so much of it is about our self-belief. And I think sometimes too it's about timing as well. And so like for me personally right now, my daughter is my focus, and she's almost 15, and really I'm like busy at work and I'm busy with my life, and if somebody shows up, great, but it's not really a focus because I'm just like really busy with all of my things and becoming the best version of myself. And so when I think about like dating with vision, I think about like what is are the qualities that I would like to attract in somebody, and then having those qualities within myself, so that you're almost like dating yourself, right? And I think I've heard that on different things as well, is like it's good to like go out and date yourself and feel really good within, because then you're going to attract that as well. What do you think, Graham?
What were you talking about in 1 second? Like your hair, by the way, Nomsa. You look very relaxed today. What was it? What's the problem in a nutshell? What was it?
The topic is date with vision. Love begins where self-belief starts.
It was what the illusion of. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Date with vision. Love begins where self-belief starts. So it's believing you can have it, or believing in yourself, or yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a short answer. Yeah. If you don't believe it, you'll. I wouldn't say you won't get it because things.
Mhm.
But if you don't believe it, you're less likely to see it. And neurologically, you're less likely to have the receptors open in your mind. See it, that's for sure. You've got to be open to the possibility of change. It's like when you coach people, you've got to be coachable.
Mhm.
Otherwise, don't bother, really. Yeah. So yeah. Nice. Who came up with it? You, Amanda?
No, I was saying to Nomsa before the show, I was like, I don't know that I'm the best person for this topic, because I'm like, I don't really date right now. And so I was like, I don't know that I am the best person to talk about these things, because the dating is not one of my focuses right now. It really is my daughter and my job and my friends, and just really creating a life that I love, that I don't need to run away from or trying to avoid by having someone or feeling lonely because I don't have somebody in my life.
No, no.
Think, this is a really important question around the holiday season as well, because I think a lot of people who are single might feel like very alone during this time of year, or they're like feeling anxious about going to family dinners or something where people are like, oh, still no relationship. Right? And so they have those like preconceived notions of anxiety about
Yeah.
what other people are reflecting onto them. And I think really one of the things that like even I asked my daughter a couple of years ago, we were planning like Christmas morning, and what is it that you want to do? And she's like, Mom, I just like it when it's just the two of us. That's her favorite thing. And it was funny because I always like worried about that with her. And I talked to one of my cousins whose parents got divorced when um she was about 15, and she said, my favorite Christmas ever was when it was just me, my mom, and my brother. And that was my favorite whenever it was just us on Christmas morning. And she's like, so like just talk to her about what it is that she really enjoys. And it is just the two of us and having it really quiet and calm. And I was always like anxious and worried and feeling that I needed to provide the opposite, like this big family gathering of chaos, and that's not what she needs or what I need.
I think vision, when it comes to that, is really important. I had a client years ago. And she said, a lovely lady, and she said that, you know, she was with a partner she loves very much. And one day it occurred to her that years before, I mean, several years before, she had drawn a vision board. And on that vision board was a perfect partner. And when she thought, but she confirmed, she got the vision board, she got it out and looked at it. And what was on that vision board was exactly the partner she had. Exactly. She said she had forgotten that a few years ago she had made that vision board. Now, you know, with vision boards, the biggest mistake is to make it and then stick it in a corner and never look at it. Like you meant to look at it every day. But she had looked at it every day for a while, but had long since forgotten about it, as most people do. But she had it. Vision boards are really powerful. But if they're used properly, they can be really powerful. But you know, you can't. You must go out, as I always say to people, if you're looking for love, um, don't just sit there and hope the postman's going to or the postwoman's going to be the love of your life, because they might be, but you're hedging your bets there, aren't you? You're limiting your chance. You've got to market yourself. And I often say to people when they're looking for a partner, it's not that you're bad at dating, it's just that you're really lousy at marketing. You know, it's like you do have to give it a chance and go and do something about it. You can't just expect it to come to you. However, I think you can load the dice in your favor by if you're believing it, you're seeing it, you're working on appreciating yourself. If you're doing that, you are putting yourself in good condition that you get noticed, because there's opportunities all around us, all kinds of opportunities in the world. There's opportunities all around us if you choose to notice them. So you've got to have your antenna up. You've got to be looking. You've got to be open to it. And that's not to jump at every opportunity and assume that is it, because it often isn't. But you've got to at least be open to seeing it. You can't be walking down the street like this. You've got to have your peripheral vision. You've got to let it. You've got to accept it in. And I believe a lot of people they block things out purely because they don't feel they're ready themselves. And here's the key thing. I think it is about working on yourself to making yourself good, making yourself ready to love, ready to get. Now, no one's perfect, but yeah, sometimes if we're repelling love by our attitude, by our fear, by our being a little bit rude or short to people, and that's probably masked fear anyway, then yeah, you're limiting your chances. Again, you're self-sabotaging. So work on that. Make sure everything's tuned up like a car engine. You're working. It hasn't got to be at peak performance, but you're working well, and you're appreciating yourself, loving yourself, and open to opportunities. You'll dramatically increase your chances of finding what you're looking for. Do you think, Nomsa?
Of course, Grant, you have to be open to opportunities because people believe that you have to go out, like you actually get dressed and go out to the pubs and clubbing to find the right partner, but that's wrong. If you go to the pub, you'll find the wrong guys. You go to the clubbing, you'll find the wrong guys. You might find the right guys at that pub, that's fine, or maybe that will be your lucky day. But like you say, Grant, you have to be tuned up every single day.
Yeah,
You can find your spouse at the bus stop, or you can find your spouse on the main
yeah,
road, Waitrose, Tesco's, any supermarket you go, you can find a future spouse anywhere. So that's why what Grant says is really before long time ago our older generation they used to meet natural because they talked. Nowadays, the young ones, they don't talk to each other. They're like, I'm shy, I'm busy, I'm this, I've got no time to talk to people. How are you going to meet someone? Just dress up and always dress up, always look presentable. You don't have to wear expensive clothes, but always look presentable because you don't know who you're going to meet. Amanda is a single mom, or you may meet the love of your life at the supermarket. The guy may ask, might ask by mistake and say, "Oh, where can I find this?" Maybe they just see you attractive and just come and think you are stuff, wanting you to think you are stuff, and say, "Oh, excuse me, where can I find this?" And you're like, "Oh, no, I don't work here." And then the guy introduces himself and say, "By the way, I'm so and so," and the conversation starts. So who knows? So just be ready all the time. Like Amanda, she's saying she's raising her children, her daughter, but God has other plans. She might meet the love of her life somewhere. And then we might remind her, do you remember live, Amanda, what you said? And then, but me, because I know how the universe works, I'll be like, wow, God had other plans for you, girl. So just always be ready.
Interesting, isn't it?
I definitely think it's important to be open, but also to be living your best life. And I'm laughing to myself about the like grocery store approach because I have been approached numerous times in the grocery store over the years. Never anybody that I've actually wanted to date, but it's like a like Hollywood movie like cliche, but it definitely does happen.
Yeah, it does happen, even at the gym.
Been
Yeah,
approached coffee shops.
it
Like,
can. And I agree with you, Nom says that when I've always looked at sort of serious girlfriends I've met in my life and stuff, they've always been at those sort of places like bus stops and stuff. I can't. Well, one I met in a pub on Christmas Eve many years ago, and I was with her for years. Years, absolutely. Yeah. So, there's no absolutes. It's not like you won't meet your perfect partner in a nightclub. You could do if you're into nightclubs. You could do. Why not? But if you're into mountaineering, you're probably more likely to meet them, a mile and a half up a mountain or something. It's there's no absolute. And again, this is my point about having an open mind. When we start going in and saying, "Oh, I'll never meet them in my local town," you don't know. You don't know. Oh, but everyone's boring in my local town. Yeah, but maybe these boring people got an exciting cousin who lives in another part of the country or another part of the world who happens to come to visit, and you bump into them when they're buying a loaf of bread in a local shop. Yeah, there's absolutely no open. The thing is, you've just got to be open to looking for the opportunity, and that's it. Simple as that. But yeah, you can load the dice by making yourself the best version of yourself, which doesn't mean throwing yourself at everybody, but it means just being open to the possibility. Yeah, it's my fault. Nomsa, do you find a lot of ladies struggle trying to find a perfect man, or they have self-doubt, or what's the common mistakes you see them making?
I think people focus on their problems. They focus on what went wrong in the past.
Yeah, the past
That's where
week.
the problem is. They focus on what went wrong, what the men did wrong, or what the woman did wrong, and there are no right women out there. There are no right men out there. So I'm like, so when I speak to my clients, I'm like, are you the right woman for another man? They're like, yes. So I'm like, if you believe you're right, there's someone else who is right like you, who is looking for you. So you have to believe that.
Yeah, because logically there will be, won't there?
Yeah.
When you look at it, when you look at this and think about it, if you look at facts, mathematics, and science, of which I'm not an expert on any, but that's not going to stop me from claiming to be. But seriously, when you look at it,
You're a pilot, Grant.
what's that?
You're a pilot.
I'm a pilot, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pilot and engineers, they have to be good in mathematics. So you're good.
Hey, good at arithmetic. I'm good
Yeah,
at.
you're good. Nomsa tells you you're good. You're good.
All right,
Let's
thank
go.
you.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you. So, but when you look at it, of course there is a partner out there for you. Because if that was a true fact for most people, then there wouldn't be people in partnerships. There would not be children. There would not be a human race. So clearly, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
Clearly, it is. It's just, again, we make our beliefs our reality. So I have a thing about truth and fact. you know, oh, it's true. Yeah, that might be the truth that you've decided to accept, but is it a fact? Yeah, is it? Can and I say to her, can you prove? Can you, if we were in a court of law right now, could you provide me with enough evidence to be beyond reasonable doubt that you are right? And in 99% of cases, people are like, no. I said, so you're just wasting my time telling me that you're not good enough. Because, and that's it, because it's not true. It simply isn't true. So, and again, I will defer to Mark Twain's wonderful quote is that, and I'll paraphrase it if I may, but it is that, in life we worry about many things. Some of them actually come true, meaning that the vast majority of things that we worry about never even materialize. So we waste our life worrying about things that are never going to become a problem anyway. So what a waste of life. Yeah, it's just do it. Just do it. But, why don't people do it? Fear of ridicule, fear of judgment. Well, there's two ways of looking at judgment, I think. And one is that I'm sorry to shatter your ego, but most people weren't watching anyway. Oh my God, they know it's like not that little bit of hair was sticking up. Like, you actually think people are spending their life looking at that? Yeah, they actually have things going on in their own life. So I'm sorry to shatter your ego, but they weren't actually watching anyway. That's one thing. And the other part is that, you know, it's immaterial. No one cares. You look at perfectionism, no, people aren't actually that bothered about it. They're really not. They're really not, especially once you get beyond the age of about 15. Yeah, it's not it's not such a thing. Because you come to realize that we're all a bit messed up. And that's all right. And actually, imperfection is attractiveness. Yeah, seriously, because people feel comfortable and safe with someone who's a little less perfect. Right? Because if you're with someone who's perfect, it's like, oh my God, I've got to be perfect now. This is why people think. So, being imperfect is really quite an attractive thing. So there's a reframe for you.
Have you ever read Brene Brown's book, The Gift of Imperfection?
What was it called, Amanda?
Gift of Imperfection.
Some about perfection.
It's called The Gift of
The
Imperfection.
gift of imperfection. No, I haven't. No.
Yeah, it's good. It's one of the first real self-help type of books that I ever read. And it really
Oh,
was on you need to just let go of that vision of being perfect and just
I've got the book, but I haven't read it. I was just waiting for the perfect time to read it.
yeah.
Have you actually got the book, Grant?
No, I haven't. I was just joking. I was just saying I was waiting for the perfect time to read the book about the gift of imperfection.
Yeah. No, it's a good one. It was really good. I don't remember all of the details of it because I read it quite a long time ago, but it was one of my favorites about how our imperfections are actually what make us unique and what make us who we are. And I think sometimes too, a lot of people when they date from this sense of lack, then they end up dating people that really aren't good for them and they end up in really unhealthy relationships and just stay there because of out of fear. And I don't think that's a healthy way to deal with things either. And so when we look at relationships, sometimes if you wanted to be in a relationship, it wouldn't be hard. You could find somebody really easily, but would they be a good match for you?
Right.
Right? Just
Right.
to have a partner isn't necessarily a good choice, right? You want to find the right partner for you. That's why you really need to have a vision of what it is that you're looking for. Because if you don't know what you're looking for, how will you know when you found it? Right? And then also too, when you do know what you're looking for, sometimes there's some things that you might have to bend on a little bit, right? Where it's okay, I really wanted this, but they have all these other wonderful qualities that I wasn't necessarily thinking of when I was searching for that person. But I do think that so much of it starts with our self-belief. And if you're in a relationship right now and it's really unhealthy, then maybe you need to look at your self-belief as why is it that you stay in that unhealthy relationship? Because I have a few people in my life who are in unhealthy relationships and choose to continue to stay. And then it's well, why do you choose that? right? And what is it that's making you continue to choose that? And what is your self-beliefs around that, that you won't find anybody else, that you'll be alone forever? Maybe being alone is a better choice than being in an unhealthy relationship, right? Because at least you have the opportunity to meet somebody else. I think it's one thing to be lonely and be single, and a very different thing to be lonely and be in a relationship.
Wow.
And if you're lonely and in a relationship, that is like a million times harder than being lonely and single, because if you're lonely and single, at least there's opportunities.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah,
So what causes people to be like this, you think?
it's fear, Grant. People fear, or they're emotionally hungry. That leads to desperation, and desperation can lead to misalignment, or sometimes they are lonely. When you're lonely, us in church, we say when you're lonely, you need God. You don't need a man or a woman.
Right.
That's what God is for when you're feeling lonely. It's not for dating to say I'm feeling lonely, I need to date. Because dating is very, very deep. And that person, you will spend the rest of your life with them. So you need to really, really make sure that they align with what you're looking for. And even if you fight or you argue, you know that this relationship is worth it. And so I think, like Amanda, what is saying is people dating, being in a relationship and they're unhappy. And you may find they're even on medication because of the person they're dating, because of anxiety. What's the point of being in having anxiety, depression because you're unhappy? So you might as well remove yourself from anxiety and depression and be on your own and just pray like Nomsa and be with God. Because when you're with God, you don't get lonely. So I think that's where people make mistake is just dating because they don't value themselves, they're lonely, they fear the edge as well. People fear that because of their age. I like Lisa Nicholson, her attitude the attitude she had towards marriage. I think how old was she when she got married? I think 50 something.
Who's this? Who?
Lisa Nicholson.
I don't know. I don't know. I truly don't know. Lisa Nicholson or Lisa Nichols?
Nichols.
Nichols. Yeah. No, I don't. I still don't know.
Yeah, I think she was in her 50s when she got married. But she's very, very clear. I like the way she speaks that you have to love yourself.
Yeah.
Have to
Okay.
honor yourself. She said that she was approached by, she works in public, so every man wanted her, and she was like, "You're not, if there is no alignment, I'm not gonna settle for less." So she wanted that alignment to meet someone that aligns with what she's looking for. And they're out there, and also Christians as well. You can ask God to connect you with the love of your life. What do you think, Amanda? Oh, Grant is back.
It was just the sun. I had to draw the
I
blinds.
Oh,
was
okay.
I was thinking about the author that we had on at one point in time, John Gray, and how he was so fascinating. I just found that like conversation just like
Yeah.
so fascinating when we had him on and talked to him. And he's the one who wrote Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And his first wife had like passed away from cancer, I believe. I don't quote me on that, but I'm trying
Yeah,
to remember.
yeah, she did. She did.
And then he's now has like met somebody else and just was like completely in love, and like so much of it was about like how you relate to other people and how you show up for them and how to make them feel safe. And he was like, I don't know how old he was, but he was old and just like so in love and so loving life. And just like, he just was like this breath of fresh air around relationships. And I just was like, wow, this man, like and even like the intimacy part of it, he was just like completely like, it's so great. And like, all of the things. And I just was like, wow, like he really knows his stuff, but also like he's living it. He's living his research. And it was just one of the like most uplifting conversations that I've ever been a part of. And I think sometimes like if you're looking for that and you're looking for that really passionate, um he like embodied it completely. I don't know, what do you think, Grant? Because you were on the
Yeah,
conversation.
it's funny that when you mentioned him, I was thinking of him at that very second when you said it. That's really weird. Um, but yeah, it was an awesome interview. I was enthralled by it. I really was. And yeah, his gusto for life, his verve and his just excitement and exuberation about life was lovely. It was infectious, absolutely infectious. Um, I remember. I remember once being on a tube in London, tube train, right? It doesn't really matter where it was, but I was. And there was a guy there, not a bad looking guy, not bad, but not super handsome, with a absolutely stunning girlfriend. I mean, she was everybody on the tube could see how beautiful this lady was. I mean, she just oozed beauty. And she was with him, and clearly with him, and much in love with him. Um, it's his enthusiasm. He was friendly, nice, bubbly with her. I could see he was an attractive human because he probably made her feel great. I mean, lots of guys would like her, no doubt about that, but he made her feel great. You could, I mean, it's a terrible thing to say because it's not true, but in classic terms, you might say he was punching above his weight being with her, right? But he wasn't because his personality was just magnetic. He was just genuinely enthusiastic and thought the world of her. But how can I describe it? Not in a creepy way either. He was just open, right? Open, genuine, bubbly, funny, complimentary to her. And she hardly said a word because she didn't feel she needed to. She was just enjoying being around him. I'll never forget it. Never forget it. It was lovely to see. Really nice to see. I wonder what happened to them. Who are you? Are you the people who are on that tube? If so, if you know me, please come on the show. But we want to examine you. But yeah, it was but yeah, it was wonderful, wonderful, really nice to see because it kind of it broke all the norms. And on the tube, nobody was saying it because nobody knew each other, but everybody was thinking it. I was like, you wouldn't really necessarily put those two together. Not on looks. Not on. Again, he wasn't a bad looking guy. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't bad, but it wasn't, and he wasn't like roguishly handsome or nothing like that, and a little bit ugly but handsome. No, no, yeah. Well, I'll leave it at that. That's what it was. But it was his personality was really, and he made her feel good. I'll leave it at that. There's the clue, everybody. Everybody's looking for what can I get from the relationship. What about if we flip that around? What can I give to the relationship? Because if we all did that, boy, oh boy, would you be cooking with gas. There's the thing. Flip the script.
Yeah, it's really how you show up, right? Is that
Yeah.
and that comes from the self-belief is how you're showing up. It's interesting that you were thinking about that very same interview when I mentioned it because I still think about what some of the things that he said and how just like energetic and just vibrating with like enthusiasm about life and about
As a
relationships.
naughty boy, John Gray.
Pardon?
He's very naughty, yeah. Yeah. I like his character. He's got a character, and I like a Grant the way you're describing this guy. I think what attracts women mostly is a man who accepts you for who you are, who believes in themselves. So when he looks at a woman, it doesn't look like a woman and say, she's out of my league. He believes that, you know what, I have what she's looking for. I'm different. I love her. I'll give her everything that she needs. So I'm going to approach her and I'm going to spend the rest of my life with her if she says yes. So I think that's the attitude this guy had. And this woman, and the respect as well. And this woman, maybe she's never felt that way before. She's never respected, because mostly men nowadays don't have respect for women. I'm sorry to say that, guys, but there's quite a few men who have respect, mostly well-cultured men. A few nowadays. Women, men, like even when I go on the street, I see a man arguing with a woman, calling a woman names. I'm thinking, well, who raised you, man? Who raised you to speak to a woman like that? So that's the way it is. I think people are watching too much television and they
Yeah,
want to
yeah, yeah.
become like TV. But the reality is we're human beings. So I think what you saw, Grant, what you witnessed, it was a man who worked on himself and who was ready to get out there and grab every woman that he wanted. I always say to
I
people,
might phrase it a little differently to that, but still.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, he knew what he wanted. And he put himself out there and got the woman, the beautiful woman that he wanted. Because to him, it wasn't about beauty, it was what that woman had inside. And that woman, it wasn't about the looks with the guy. It's just the respect. When you find someone that makes a different, there's a matchmaker. She does not tolerate any nonsense. She's in the US. She's been doing matchmaking all her life. I think she's in her 60s now. Or this beautiful woman that they pay money, they come to you, they tell you, I paid the money, you should do this. And she just give you your money and tell you to get out. Or the wealthy guys, you give her attitude. She goes, I'm not going to have you speak to me like that. That's how you're going to treat a woman. Get out. She gives you, sometimes you don't even get your refund. You pay 60,000, you don't get a refund if you're rude. Because there's loads of them out there. But dating with a vision is knowing what you want. And for me, I always believe that there are women out there who like to date a billionaire, millionaire, date this one a doctor, that one a lawyer. As long as you know the mindset of a billionaire, you know the mindset of a millionaire, you know the mindset of a doctor, what is required. They work long hours. You can put up with them. You can grab any money that you want if you believe in yourself. Honestly, I spoke to one of the clients. She came to me and she didn't pay. And she said to me, she told me her struggle. So I said to her, I give you homework. And as a woman, this is how you should feel and go. And she went. She wrote to me and said, Nomsa met someone. He was like, yeah, that's how it works. You have to believe. Not believing in problems that you've been through, not your exes that whatever they've put you through. They've had their own problems. We can't change it, but focus on you.
Yeah, there you go. You said it. You said it. Yeah.
What do you think, Amanda or Grant?
Amanda?
Well, I do think so much of it is about focusing on yourself and how you show up and what your like subconscious beliefs are around relationships, and then how do you make those subconscious patterns shift so that you do bring in someone that you really truly love and are the person that's going to help you grow, right? And I always believe when my daughter asks me about relationships, I'm like, you either like grow together or you grow apart. Those are it's just, that's the way it is if you're growing together, it's about like making sacrifices for each other to help each other grow. And so it might be like you have to move for somebody to go to university, right? Or you have to like shift because somebody got a new job, those sort of things, or somebody wants to go back to school, right? But and I think about people like people that I dated in like university or something, I'm like, if you still are that same person that you were in university, then you're going to attract that same type of person. But if you've changed, then you're going to attract the type of person that you've changed into. And I know one couple that's been together forever and ever, and if they were behaving the same way they did in university, they wouldn't still be together, right? Because they were very much like this party couple that loved to like go out and were super social and all of the things. And now they're very much homebodies who like to like take care of their home and do renovations and that sort of stuff. And if one of them was still that party person, they wouldn't still be together, right?
No.
But they've grown together, right? They've grown together into what they wanted to create as in a partnership. And when they met in university, they were very different people, but they've grown together and continue to create the life that they want together based on how they're shifting and growing as an individual, but then also as a partnership. And I think sometimes too, like you have to really look at that is the person that you're with growing with you, or are they holding you back? And do you guys have the same sort of vision together of the life that you want to create? Because if you don't, then you really have to look within yourself and question what it is that you're doing if you're not with somebody that's helping you create the vision for your life that you want.
You got it. Nice, 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 nice. Yep. About what you want, where you're going to get it, and why you want it, and what you can give to it. I think that's really important. What you can give to it, how you can breathe life into it. That's one of the key things. People are always looking at what they can get out. What could you put in? Because the quality of the soil will define the quality of the flower, right? So yeah, just work on yourself, get good, so you're in a good position to give. You haven't got to be perfect because nobody ever is. Um, but get good enough so you can give. Learn to love yourself. If you learn to love yourself, then you've got love to give. If you don't love yourself, you're going with that empty tank. So learn to love yourself. I know you guilt, shame, fear because of things you've done in the past. I get it. We've all done it. Yeah. But the past, the greatest thing, as Richard Bandler once said, one of the founders of NLP, the greatest thing about the past is it's gone. You can't get it back if you try. So stop trying to relive it. It went. That's it. So start to create the future. Make the rest of your life the best of your life.
I like that, Grant and Amanda. For me, I leave you with these guys. Strengthen your inner voice is really, really important. Commit to dating with intention, not impose. Understand your core needs. Refuse to apologize for them. Build self-respect through consistent boundaries. Embrace aloneness and preparation, not punishment. And enjoy the person you are becoming in that moment. Just go with the ride and enjoy your life.
Good.
Amanda,
Yeah.
you say your words of encouragement?
Well, whatever it is that you're hoping for, I think like Grant said, how that lady went back to her vision board and had created the perfect person for herself from that vision. And so really get real with what it is that you're looking for, and then just be the best version of yourself and keep living that, and it will show up for you.
And guys, if you're watching us from YouTube, please do subscribe and be part of the family and share the video and like. And if you're watching on Facebook, guys, you can join in Gosu Talk Show group as well. We have two groups, Unique Billionaire Mindset and Gosu Talk Shows. And join both groups, be part of the family. And every day, people are joining Unique Billionaire Mindset. No one is joining Gossip Talk Shows. I don't know whether it's the name that is attractive I'm not sure. But join both groups and be part of us in both ways. And go to the website as well. And if you want Grant to coach you, or Amanda or Nomsa to coach you, you can sign up and the form will come through, or you can call me, or you can follow these guys, contact them direct. Either way, whatever works for you. God bless you guys and live with grace.